Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I get a lot of inquiries about corrective work. So I get a lot of people that are either not in love with their previously done brows or they had them done 10 or 12 years ago and they want to get them corrected. So people ask me what are my options. So I wanted to really dive into that today. So let's chat about all the different options that are available. If you have had your brows previously done and you want to get them worked over, there are a few different options that we can consider. So the first one is corrective work, or going right over top of the existing brow work. There are pros and cons with this one. So the pros are you will get instant gratification. You get to see your brows redone immediately. But the cons are that you generally have to go darker and bigger. So a lot of people generally want to soften old work, so for working over it, if it's already pretty saturated, you're gonna have to go really dark to cover that brow. In addition, if it has gone gray or ashy, or it's kind of changed color tone over time, there are toning colors that we can use to shift it back to a neutral brown. The problem is if the pigment is already quite saturated in the skin, there's not a lot of room left for that skin to hold the pigment. So although you may see an initial, immediate great result, it tends to be temporary. So most people find around 6 months, 9 months, they're gonna start seeing that tone shift back to that kind of ashy gray tone. So although it's great if you need an immediate fix, you have a wedding coming up, you're really wanting it redone right away, it is kind of a temporary fix. So I generally use this with caution and I only use it on select people. So our second option, if you have previously done brow work, would be laser tattoo removal. So this is amazing because it's gonna work super quick, super effective. Now, the downside to that is we don't know exactly what the chemical makeup was of the previous pigment that was in your skin. So if you have iron oxide in there, there is a good chance it's gonna go a little red or warm, kind of like a salmony tone, once that gray carbon is broken up and taken out of the skin. So it's pretty immediate, pretty effective, but you could be left with some undesirable tones for a few weeks until you get your next laser session or get your brows redone. So that can be kind of off-putting for some people. In addition, once you get the brows removed, because the skin is so thin and the laser is able to penetrate really quickly, it could lift over 50% of the pigment with just one session, which again is amazing, but then that could leave people with having to draw their brows on for about 6 weeks until they can get them redone. And if you're needing multiple laser tattoo removal sessions, you may be looking at, up to 6 months without having great eyebrows that you are going to have to be drawing in every day. So it is a great option, but it's a procedure. So it's not a one and done. It's generally gradual. The pigment will lift over time. It's definitely going to require a lot of patience. Now our third option is saline tattoo removal. So this involves taking a specialized solution that has a high saline concentrate and we tattoo it into the permanent makeup work. So once that saline is in the skin, it's going to work at breaking up the pigment and it's going to pull it out through the surface of the skin through osmosis. So comparing that to laser is fragmenting that pigment, kind of taking pebbles and turning them into sand, making them super small so that your lymphatic system can carry them out, whereas saline is pulling pigment through the surface of the skin. So the good thing about this is that it's really safe for people that can't have laser treatments for whatever reason. It also is not going to be color dependent. So with laser, we're setting the laser beams to hit specific color targets, and that's why you can be left with some undesirable tones throughout the process. Whereas with saline, it's just lifting all colors regardless of what color they are and breaking them down evenly and pulling it out through the surface of the skin. The downside to saline is that you are going to have some superficial scabbing for about a week. You are going to want to keep the eyebrows dry, do a dry heal with those, and it is going to be, in my opinion, a bit of a slower process than the laser tattoo removal. But it is also an effective solution. So at the end of the day, if you have previously done eyebrows and you want to rework them, we can definitely do that for you, and you have several different options. So depending on what your end goal is, that's ultimately going to decide what option we go with. So if you're curious about what we can do for you, feel free to book a consultation with myself or one of my brow artists. They're always complimentary, so definitely book in. If you live out of town, we can do a virtual consultation and go from there.